What was good, PB Nation? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And listen, you already see the flyer. You already know who's in the building tonight. It's none other than that bad man, AD, Athletic Director Anton Goff. And we're going to get him up, but hey, y'all already know how we do, man. When we start off the show, I got to remind y'all that if you're not following us over on Instagram and on Twitter, make sure you're following us on both platforms, PV underscore versus underscore everybody, right? Make sure you're following us on both platforms, all right? Because listen, we get it in over there on both platforms. And listen, you know what the goal is. So go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. The goal is 750 subs. All right, we pushing close to the mark. So if you've been enjoying the content, man, go ahead and share some love by going subscribing to the channel. All right, you know what I'm saying? You got to do it. You know, not just for me, but for the home team. All right. And listen, when we talk about the home team, it's not just sports when we talk about the home team, right? We talk about the home team, man. We also talk about none other than PV loan officer Jeff McKissick. All right. And if you are looking for your home, hey man, he's the one to get in contact with. He's from Fairway Independent Mortgage Company, and he'll guide you seamlessly through the home buying process. See, many of us are unaware of our credit score, our true financial situation. But listen, Jeff will help you develop a step-by-step plan to improve your financial standing, making your dream of owning a home achievable sooner than you think. See, he understands your situation may not be perfect, but listen, that's okay. The sooner y'all start talking is the sooner you can solve the problems like credit issues and student loan debt. So don't let the fear of achieving new heights hold you back from getting the home of your dreams. Perfect for your growing family and for hosting those PV watch parties. So get started now on taking the first step towards your new home and taking the next big step in your life. Don't delay. Talk with Jeff today so you can be in your home tomorrow. And listen, when you find the property that's all your own, you don't just need to just accept it, man. You got to make sure after you get the loan in place, you got to make sure that when you find the home, that home is actually ready for you to be able to put your family in there and it's safe and sound. And so when you're thinking big about your home purchase and want a thorough assessment of your biggest investment, you owe it to yourself to think big, right? Blueprint Improvement Group. Big provides home inspections in the greater Houston area and is owned and operated by proud PV mechanical engineer alum Neil Harris. He has experienced inspectors who use advanced tools and techniques to assess every aspect of the property from the roof to the foundation. So visit thinkbig.com or text 713-259-0673 to book your home inspection. Support the team that supports the team. And even for some of y'all are preparing to get y'all home on the market, you need to make sure you hit up Neil as well, because you need to know ahead of time what bumps along the road could be there that could cause some issues with you getting that home sold. And so hit up Neil if you're looking to buy or if you're looking to sell, man. He can help you either way. And so with that being said, man, y'all already know what we got going on this evening. It's a special time. Jared's in the building. What up, PV Nation? And we got none other than that man, Anton Goff. What's going on, AD?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man, everything is going well. Everything's going well, man. I know we've started now into the spring season. You know what I'm saying? So now we got a couple sports going on this side of the ledger. And so I know we're going to be able to get into a little of that, you know what I'm saying, this evening. And I want to let everybody know. So if you do have questions that you would like to get up and ask AD Goff, go ahead. You can put them in the chat. I'll be filtering them throughout this evening as we have that conversation. So if you do have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, right? We'll be monitoring the chat to make sure we get those questions up. But first and foremost, I just want to open the floor, you know, for you, AD, man, and just be able to give us a rundown kind of where we are right now, just with all the athletic programs, with everything we got going right now in the spring. Just kind of let PV Nation know where we are as a whole. Oh, I lost your audio.
Can't hear me?
There we go, right there. I got you now. Yep.
So winding down with both basketballs, men's and women's basketball, and hopefully both will make the tournament so we can go to Atlanta and try to shock the world. And then with bowling just started, so they started off pretty strong. And then literally this last weekend we started softball and baseball, and so with those sports getting ready to wind up so we can play our conference. Obviously, I was down at Cactus Jack on Saturday and was at the TSU game, lost a heartbreaker at the end of the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth. But I like our team, and so we're excited about them. And so indoor track's about to finish up and head into outdoor track. Both our men's and women's track teams are looking strong, and golf is competing as well.
That is what's up. You know, we got a couple of different programs that's obviously right in the midst of getting it in their seasons. And so it's going to be exciting coming down the stretch. Also got PV relays coming up, which is always really exciting. You know, get the high schools on campus, you know, get other colleges on campus. Let's talk a little bit about the PV relays. You know, I know you've been able to be in through one so far. How beneficial is that to be able to have some event like that on campus that's able to not just display, you know, your track and field program, right? And obviously, you know, all that we have access to when we talk about a track and field program, but also just to get people on campus just so they can see the school as general. Lost you again.
You got me? Can you hear me?
There we go. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's important for a couple reasons. Like first, you know, from an athletic standpoint, being able to have our student athletes compete at home is really big. It allows us to showcase our facility, our track. It brings, like you said, high school students there. So, you know, helps us in recruiting there. But we partner with the university and try to make it a big day. So we try to bring as many people on campus that weekend for kind of like a high school recruitment type deal, and anybody who's gonna come to PV, and kind of orientation, you know, PV day. So the relay is really important, and we usually host a baseball and a softball game. So we have a lot of things going on around that weekend, that Friday and that Saturday. So it's really important for us from a showcase standpoint, getting as much traffic as we can on campus and educating the locals about what PV has to offer from an athletic standpoint, but also from an academic standpoint.
No, that's big. And I think, you know, even with Coach Jackson and some of the other coaches for the other programs all talk about just being able to get the kids on campus, you know. And I think that's true, not just when we talk about the athletic program, right? But that's true in general. You know, if we can get kids to the campus so they can see, you know, the beautiful product that we have to offer, you know, from a standpoint of the academics, they also could be excited about coming to Prairie View, right? And being able to learn from, you know, this at this institution and then take that knowledge abroad as well. And so it's also super big for those individuals as well. You know what I mean? So obviously the athletic department plays a role and has a part to play there to get people here. Even those parents, right, who come in with maybe one kid who sees and said, oh man, you know, I didn't know, right, this is here. And so obviously those high schools is obviously such a big thing as well. Are there any plans elsewhere to be able to get, you know, high schools or to get elementary school kids, those that are still coming up through the ranks on campus? Is there any plans in the works from the athletic department in terms of that? Again, I lost you again.
You got me?
There we go. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know what's up every time I talk, but April 17th, we're using our spring game as another opportunity, right? We're hosting our spring football game, or spring showcase, April 17th, which is going to be on Thursday night, which is different, right? Yes. And so we're using that day as a recruitment day for football, but we're also trying to partner with the university to bring kids on campus, to have that as another day that they're touring the campus and doing some things. What we try to do is we try to use the athletic department as the front door to university, right? This is a way for us to invite people in. And then once we get them in, then we're going to take them to the engineering department. We're going to take them to, to business and the other departments to show them what we have here on campus. Because at the end of the day, it's about academics, but we use the vehicle of athletics to get them through the door.
I got you. Okay, so that plan is really to make it more than just the spring game. It's kind of also to make it a day that we have people. Is it focused on like a certain class, like juniors or seniors, or
no? So what we're doing is from an athletic standpoint, we're going to do it from a high school deal, right? So juniors and seniors that'll be looking at, coming to PV probably that from that aspect. Then from a athletic aspect, seniors that'll be coming up in 2020. What is that? 2025.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that's no problem. That's going to be a big day, obviously. And, it is on Thursday, right? What was the thought process around choosing to have it on Thursday? I know that's been a big conversation piece in Thursday night football, as it says, right? So what was the thought process to have it on Thursday instead of the typical Saturday game?
So coach wanted to make it a little more different. Wanted to put his own spin on it. At other places, he's done it on a Thursday night. One of the things about Thursday is that students here on campus are usually still here, right? A lot of students go home on the weekend, and so when you have it on Saturday, you don't have a lot of students. We're trying to have our students here on campus get involved as well. We're trying to put a shirt together to, maybe have the hashtag DOG on it, because that's his slogan now: discipline, obedience, grit. Working with the bookstore, who's a big sponsor of ours. So we're trying to do some things that are different, but also from an aspect of having more people on campus be involved in this program. And it starts with getting the students here. And so that's a way to drive the students, on campus. And then hopefully we'll be able to partner with campus and have some events during the day with alumni relations and with our advancement team that, have some tailgating, some music, DJs, radio station, and make it a good afternoon, a good evening.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's really interesting. I love the aspect of really getting the campus involved as a whole. And so having the different departments involved to be able to do those tours, right? Having the like you say, the bookstore, the merch, connected to it as well. I think those definitely will make it a really an event, right? And that's what it sounds like we're seeking to make it, is actually make it a full event. Now I know you talked about doing it on Thursday for the students, and that's such a huge thing, right? We talk about even the attendance and all the different athletic programs, right? The cornerstone of that is your students, right? Even when you look at other schools, and I always think about the Cameron Crazies at Duke, right? Talking to the softball team, right? They always talk about when they go to Texas A&M, there's always a set of students who are there who are just there to heckle, right? And so these are some things that we can definitely do. But you definitely got to get your students involved. And I know one thing that was done recently was KPVU really spearheaded a pep rally, right? That was athletic pep rally. Can you talk a little bit about that? How did that come to be, right? And just give us just overall of how that event went. Lost you again.
You got me?
There we go. All
right. So it was a great event. The picture you had up there with me in the white sweatsuit was from that event. And, how it came about was that student government and Gold Members Club and some other students came to us and said, hey, we have this idea. Would you support the idea? And I was like, absolutely. Anything the students want to do, I'm usually 99.9% on board with it. And so they really drove putting it together, and they wanted it to be not just because it was right before the TSU basketball game. They didn't want it just to be a basketball thing. They was hey, we want all the student athletes, all the teams to come in, at least be introduced. Were amenable to that. Talked to our student athlete advisory committee. They were amenable to it. So, for about a month or so, we put stuff together with the student government, and they got all the student groups together that wanted to perform and set the agenda. And they were the MCs and everything. I just showed up and they introduced me. I said a couple words and I passed it on. And, it was really a student-led event. And that's what I've been trying to tell our students here on campus. Tell me what you want to do. You lead it, because if it's student-led, you're going to have buy-in. And if you have buy-in, then you're going to get your friends to come, and more students are going to come, because as students, you know what you want to go to.
Yeah.
Right? I was a student a million years ago, right? I knew what I wanted to go to, but I may not know right now. So I rely on our students here on campus, not just our student athletes, but our general student body, to tell us what they want. And to me, I feel like my role is to support them. And so that's what we try to do. And so it was a packed house, man. We really liked the event, a lot of energy, a lot of dancing, a lot of music. And it was just an opportunity for us as a campus to come together around athletics, but really around the student body and really around the PV brand.
No, that's really big. And I think you hit it on the head when you said this, it was student led, right? And so they, students know students, right? You know your peers, you know exactly what they're looking for. And this was another question that I definitely wanted to ask, because when we look at both when you look at the kind of the split right now that the SWAC has going with the Thursday night games for the women's game, Monday night for the men's, it's beneficial. And I think they wanted to highlight the separate programs, right? But I think you sometimes can lose, right, that kind of collective gathering, right, in terms of coming together. And I think right now for us, both of our programs are at the bottom of the SWAC in terms of attendance. I think the ladies are like under 200. And then the men, I think, were like at 560 or something when I looked, right? How do you see maybe the students being able, the athletic program maybe working more directly with the students on a consistent basis, in terms of maybe at some of these, different events, and not just, basketball, right? Of course, right now we got softball going on, we got baseball going on. They just played Texas College earlier, right? How is there a way that can be a more solidified relationship so that we can help to increase the attendance, overall? I lost you again. Sorry. It's always going to be a start and then it go.
You got me?
I got you now. I got you.
So, what we try to do is we try to work with our student government association, and they have somebody dedicated to athletics, right? They have their own athletic director, right? And so they meet with us on a regular basis. Then we have our student athlete advisory committee, which is a group of student athletes from each team, right, that represent. And so those groups meet on a regular basis, so we can try to make that synergy. It's got to be some synergy there, right? And like I said, I want to be student led. I just need them to tell me what they want to do. And so what they've been trying to do is pick, like, all right, what softball game is important for us to really push out to the campus that, hey, this is the game you need to be at. This is where we're going to have some giveaways, because obviously we got a bunch of softball games, we got a bunch of baseball games. So they're trying to highlight one or two games for each of our sports to be like, hey, this is the game that everybody's going to come to. We had a great turnout. We did that for one of our soccer games, women's soccer games. And, we had the football team out there. We had all of our student athletes out there, but there was a lot of students that came out as well. And so those are the things we're trying to do for each of our sports.
Gotcha. Okay. So right now we're kind of just picking games here and there as far as focusing on and spearheading. And so far you're saying that those have been successful when they have kind of put their hands on it, I guess. Okay. So that's really good to know. I guess it's, now it's like, man, how can we turn that up so that, the students are out every game, man? Because, when the students are there, it's a different type of energy, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a different type of atmosphere. And do you think that it would be better if, I know we have, for example, like the Gold Members Club, when you look at some other programs or other schools, they have essentially like a Gold Members Club for each program, though, right? It's kind of like something that's built like, hey, we support softball, and we're students that go out and we're always supporting at the softball games, or we're always at the volleyball games, and we're kind of the ones that make that noise there to support the team. How do you feel in terms of that? Do you think it would be better if it was, more focused sport by sport and allow them to build, or do you think kind of, just having one general group is the best way to go about that? I lost you again.
I'll wait for a second.
There we go. There we go.
The way I've seen it at other places is that you have one group and you just grow it as big as you can, right? Because what you try to do is you try to have like the group at all these games, but when you look at it, we're having a game all the time. Like you just said about basketball, we got a game. When we're home, we got a game Thursday, Saturday, Monday, right? That's a lot of time for students to be at games, right? And on Saturday, it's a double header, right? And so I think for us, like, having a large group that says, hey, man, we're going to have assignments like who can make the soccer game on Wednesday night? Who can make the basketball game on this night? And making sure you're there and they're consistent with it. Like, right, they're in the same spot. They've got some different traditions that they do, things of that nature. So I think just growing the student group is the best thing, to have one huge group.
One who's group that's going to each of the sporting events game. Okay, awesome. I see G Boom here has a question that's connected to this conversation dealing with fans. Will you be going to Panther Day or the athletic department? Right? How are they going to be getting involved in Panther Day?
Yeah. So anytime we have something on campus, probably 8 out of 10 times when we're available, we go speak, right? And we talk about, student athletes, because there's always questions, right? About, how do I attend games, or how do I get on a team, right? And so we go to those events, and we have small groups. We talk. A lot of times they have tours through here. We speak to them in the Panther room. So we're involved in Panther Land. We're involved in Panther Day. We're involved in everything that happens on campus.
That's big. That event that they do with, PAL, it used to be PALS, I think now it's P3, I think it's called, right? If we could take that they do with the freshmen and just slide it over to the athletics, I mean, that in of itself would just do so much, right? Because I mean, the way that they, involve the freshmen, right, and get them so hype, especially starting out. I mean, it's like, man, how can we get that to just come into the support of the athletic programs? And so, yeah, if we can figure that out, it's going to be really big. We have a couple questions here. That's also sticking with the basketball program. Obviously, both programs have been down really for the last few years now. At this point, can you just talk about a little bit about maybe from a standpoint of, we talk about football and kind of how it's been resourced very well, right? And we even see how, even some extra resources have gone in that direction. Got the largest staff right now in PV history. What kind of resources have been placed, in both basketball programs? And maybe what are some things that you see that, are plans that, hey, we want to plan to do these things in order to help to now get this program back to the winning tradition that it's had in the past. All right, we lost me. Gotta wait for a second. And
got
me.
There
we go.
Both basketball programs are resourced very well. They're fully funded scholarship wise to the NCAA limit. They travel well. We've got to do a better job of recruiting student athletes and retaining student athletes. I think we've got to do a better job of understanding the transfer portal, right? I think we got hit, and we get hit hard with it. Obviously, neither team is where we want them to be right now, and we'll evaluate each program at the end of the season like we do all of our programs. Men's basketball got hit hard with injuries, and so, we were kind of solid, but then, you lose your probably what we would consider our best player, and he hasn't been back yet, and I'm not sure he's going to be back with his injury. That hurts, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, we'll continue to resource it at a high level, because I think that we can be successful in basketball, and we'll continue to invest. We're going to invest in some of the in the Baby Dome facility wise, change the court, look at the sound system, do some things there, and we'll get better. Believe me.
Is that the plans for the court and for the sound system? Is that a plan for this after this season?
Yeah, after this season. Yep.
Gotcha. I got you. Okay. That's awesome. For both of those programs, I know you talk about kind of evaluating on, I guess, like almost like a sliding scale in a sense, based on kind of what their resource are. Are these two programs that you look at and evaluate and say you want them to be in that top half or top four, I guess?
Absolutely. They should. Absolutely. We need to be in the top four. Now we've got to do a little bit better job on the NIL piece, and we'll work on that. But the way it's resourced, we should be in the top four.
Gotcha. Okay, that's awesome. And when in terms of the NIL, are you seeing some things from other schools in the SWAC that maybe are putting them in a different position with the type of recruits they've been getting in, that's kind of separating them from us in terms of the NIL?
Not too much on the NIL piece. Everybody's trying to do a little bit something, right? Mm-hmm. Most people are really focused on football, but TSU does a decent job, Texas Southern. But like for us, we got to make sure that we're getting the right people in the program and continue to resource it at a high level, and we'll turn this thing around.
Gotcha. Awesome. And last question on that, because I know with TSU, obviously, Coach Jones does such a great job, especially toward the end of the year when they get to the tournament, they start to get rolling. And I know obviously that helps to bring in some revenue, right? You know what I mean? And when you have a situation like that, when we're back right in that position where we're getting to the NCAA tournament, obviously that can bring in some funds to the program. When those funds come in, are they kind of dispersed overall to the athletic program, or does it stay focused on that program that has brought in those resources?
No, it's spread out through the entire athletic department. Now,
It
I can
hold on, you low.
You got
There we
it.
go. You're back. All right.
So it's dispersed to the athletic department in general, and then I can kind of decide where I want to focus the money at.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. I see Entertainment TV has asked a question. Obviously, Coach Lindsay was here for the last 2 years, really leading the program, volleyball program in a great direction. Her and Darcy Kaiser, as well. And now they're headed to Memphis, looking to do big things up in the AAC. But now that leaves a void, obviously, for the volleyball program. How close are we to hiring a new volleyball coach? And if we are close, kind of maybe what's the timeline you think on when we will receive that information?
I can say we're close. I would like to make an announcement in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's really close then.
Yeah, we're in the
So
process.
okay, all right. So that's good. That's good to know then. For there and that you said the volleyball program also is resourced near the top of the SWAC too as well.
Yeah, we're in the top 4 of the SWAC.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's see. I see also we have a question. How many football season tickets were sold, I guess, last year and then or have been sold maybe to date currently? And then what type of marketing campaign is going to be launched to reach those that are not current season ticket holders?
So I couldn't tell you. I don't focus on the number of season tickets on a daily basis. I know we are ahead of what we were last year at this time. Last time I looked, we'll continue pushing out that season tickets are available. Myself, Coach Jack, will continue publicizing that as we're fundraising for football, as we're revamping some things in the football stadium, and as we're promoting the spring game. So we will continue focusing and marketing season tickets until the very first game.
That's awesome. And then Tony here asks, is there a goal for season tickets? I know last year, I think the goal was 2,000, I believe.
15,000. 15,000. That's my goal every year. This stadium holds 15,000. I need to sell 15,000 season tickets, man.
Hey, listen, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? To get 15,000 season tickets. So I don't know what it's gonna do for the students though, because they already paid for their season ticket technically, right?
I count them as a season ticket holder.
Oh, you already count them as season ticket holders?
Yeah.
So we already at like 9K then.
Well, no, the 9K don't come though. I'm talking about the ones that come. I'll count them as a season ticket holder.
Okay. Yeah. We gotta get KPVU TV out, you know what I'm saying, each of the home games then, and get them involved definitely, because they obviously
but we are trending in a good way. Coach has been doing a good job of getting out there in the community and promoting season tickets. We got to make sure people come inside the stadium.
No, that's good. And I see Martin also asks, what are we doing to engage local communities? I know Coach Jackson is talking about, getting the football team out, right, and doing some community activities. But just in general, what's the plan? Just like we're seeking to engage the students, what's the plan to engage the community as a whole?
Yeah, Coach has been all over the place. Hempstead, Houston, Cypress. I've been with them. Tomball. We've been all over the place, and we're going to continue to try to put our brand out there because a lot of people are excited about Coach Jack and the things he's doing and his social media presence. If you look at our social media presence and the impressions compared to previous, we probably almost at least quadrupled what we've been doing. And so that alone has put us out there a lot. And a lot of people are now paying a little more attention to Prairie View A&M University. And what's been surprising to me is that we've gotten so many more people on campus, and they're from, the Houston area or somewhere. And they've been like, I didn't know Prairie View had this on campus.
Right.
And that's been amazing to me to be like, wow, well, you're just down the road and you've never been on campus. And they were like, man, I drive past the campus. I've seen the sign, but I've never actually been on campus. And every time somebody's been on campus, no matter where they're from, they're impressed. And so we just got to try to keep getting people on campus and us getting out into the community to make sure people know, hey, man, you need to come to Prairie View.
No, that is big, and that so the same thing that we've heard from the football players, right, is the same thing we're going to hear from other, people in general. You know what I'm saying? And so we can put our brand in Cypress, we can put our brand, like you say, in North Houston, Humble, Dallas, right? Like we can get these people to campus, man. It really just going to change the whole mindset of PVMU as a whole, right?
Yep.
And thinking about that, we talked about the branding, right? And I know one thing I always, hate, right, is going to different places and I see all this merchandise for other schools, and we're not there. Is there? I know we are working with Adidas, right, as far as our deal is concerned. Is there any? How do we get our merchandise, right? Even we talk about Houston area, right? We're not even talking about a spot that's like California or something, right? Right now we're just talking about Texas, right? Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. How do you build a partnership with whoever your brand sponsor is, but also be able to get your merchandise out so that your brand is also available, right? You know what I'm saying, for not just your alum, but just your community to buy and support. Oh, lost you.
Yeah, I mean now.
There we go. All right.
We're in the process of right now finishing up our request for proposal or RFP for our multimedia rights and marketing for the athletic department. And so once that is finalized, that area will be taken care of doing all our sponsorship deals and putting our merchandise out there and working with our CLC licensing and those type of things.
I got you. So is it going to be, you're looking for a third party company that's going to handle that?
Yep.
Gotcha.
We'll have a third party company that'll handle that and probably our tickets.
So they'll be dealing with ticket sales, marketing, and media rights.
Yes.
Wow, that's big. That's big. And is this something that's looking to be in place for the 25-26 season or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully this spring we'll be able to put an announcement out of who the third party we're engaged with.
Oh, that's big, man. I need to search that RP and see if I can win that one. You feel me?
It's too late now.
No. The bid's already in. I ain't get my bid in. Oh. I missed that one. That one wasn't no sam.gov. No.
It was out there.
I also see Tony here says, we talked about the strategic plan. Has it been vetted? Because I know you talked about it needing to be able to go through, I think, was it the development on campus, I guess?
No, the Office of Innovation.
Innovation, that's what it was.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on them. I'm done. It's done. I'm just waiting on them.
Wow. Okay. So we need to be hitting up the Office of Innovation, you guys. We got to hit them up and tell them, like, look,
the holdup is that they're requiring every unit to do a strategic plan, and so they have to review all of them. But I'm done because I was doing mine a year ago, and so we're actually operating off our strategic plan right now. But we've got to get the go ahead from them to make it public.
I got you. So all of the entities that would have a hand in, just like how we talked about putting on the football event, for example, right? So all the entities that would have a hand in putting on an event, they're waiting for each of those plans as well in order to release all of them. Okay, that's really interesting. Then, is there anything in broad terms that you can share from the strategic plan?
Yeah. So for us, we have 5 pillars that we operate off, and it's academic excellence, athletic excellence, career development, community service, and personal development. So every decision we make in this athletic department has to positively affect one of those pillars.
Okay, awesome.
Or we don't make the decision.
Obadiah saying, don't post the basketball finals no more. It's depressing at this point. Okay. I don't know if Goff you can make that decision or not. But
we'll post it. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? This is sports. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose, man.
Oh man, that is interesting. Now I know we also talked about the house settlement before. Have has that the department kind of determined what direction they're going to go in as far as opting in to fund those as many scholarships as possible, or kind of what has been maybe the decision in terms of that?
No, we'll opt in. So what it does is that it limits your rosters. So there's a specific number of people you're allowed to have on a team, and then you can decide how much you want to fund them. And so, like for instance, the big thing is with football, you can't have any more than 105 student athletes on your football team. But if you want to give 105 scholarships, you can if you want to. Nobody, I don't think, really doing that. Even the SEC said they're staying at 85 full scholarships. But what it does for us, it allows us to go over 63 if we choose to.
Gotcha. And that has a SWAC indicated that they're going to put any rules in place, regarding keeping.
No, SWAC. The SWAC is going to allow you to individually choose what you want to do.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah.
So everybody can decide what they really want to invest in.
That's awesome. And with that, as far as the other programs, right, that we have, are there any programs that are in danger of maybe losing scholarships or because of the House settlement?
Well, we'll evaluate that, right? Part of our strategic plan, we'll look at every sport and see, combination of what we want to invest in, how much we have to invest, right? The pie is only so big. And so, as you start slicing it up, get smaller and smaller. And so, we'll look at all that. And, there's a possibility to, look at what can we do to raise more scholarships if we need to, if we feel like that's the route we want to go for a certain sport. How do we get there, right? Do you decrease scholarships in one program to increase in another? Or do you stay the same? Or do you fundraise more to increase scholarships in a program that you really want to? And so, we'll look at all those options once we finish up this spring.
Okay. That's and I see D-Lock here asks, for the extra scholarship funds, what does that come from? Is that just based on donations, or what are those? Where can we fund those scholarships from? What
so what you can do donations, you can do allocations where you take money within your budget and shift it around. But obviously, if you take from Peter, you got to pay Paul, and so you've got to fundraise it, right? Or you've got to get it from corporate sponsorship. It's one thing to fundraise it, but if you fundraise it, you got to fundraise it every year, right? And so if you have a windfall one year and you use a lot of that money for scholarship money, right, you need to have that windfall next year, because otherwise you're telling a young man or a young lady, hey, I can't fund your scholarship this year because we weren't able to raise that money. Also comes from, if you decide, and we're not going to do this, but at some point down the road, maybe you increase the athletic fees, right? Or you increase. What we really want to do is we want to increase our enrollment, right? But with increasing enrollment, we've got to increase housing, right? And so, we're looking at all these options, not just from an athletic standpoint, but from a university standpoint.
No,
that's part of the overall strategic plan, right? Growing the enrollment, looking at housing, trying to use, the land that we have here in an efficient way so we can grow this thing to get it to, 12,500. I think we can get there.
No, that would be big. And obviously, housing is such a huge concern, for people, for a while, right? And so obviously, if we increase that enrollment, we're definitely going to have places to put the students at the end of the day, and that's such a big thing. And obviously winning is going to affect that, because you look back at programs like North Carolina A&T and the run they went on, and look at the surge in applications. It was crazy, right? What I mean? So to see right now where we are and kind of where we can be, even application wise, we really have to figure that out, because it's coming soon. It's coming very soon.
Absolutely, no doubt.
You talk about, I see Boom here asks about broadcast for road games in football. I'm not sure, Boom, if you can kind of clarify what you mean here. I know typically the home team kind of handles the broadcast, whether they have a partnership deal or whether they're doing it through their own, themselves, right? So can you clarify that, and maybe I can ask that question to AD. Zach asks, are there any FCS programs outside of Texas you would be interested in schedule for an out-of-conference series in the future. And I do want to drop a little nugget, because Central coming to Texas this year. And I'm like, y'all came to Texas and y'all ain't pull up on the hill? Y'all going to Commerce? Out of all places, Commerce? But anyway, let me calm down. But, are there any schools that you would be excited of putting on the schedule?
Yeah. So for us, any of the Southland schools, like, we look at them as kind of like that they're in our footprint because they're in Texas, they're in Louisiana. But yeah, the MEAC schools. The problem with the MEAC schools is if they come down here, I got to go back up there. And that's a charter flight, right? And so you're talking a home and home with all the teams that are down here. For me to go to the East Coast and spend $200,000 on a flight financially doesn't make any sense to me, right? But what I'd like to do, and I've talked to a few folks out there because I know a lot of people in the MEAC, like, what about we play at a neutral site, right? And we get somebody to sponsor it, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that's some things that we're trying to look at down the road of maybe playing. I'd love to play in either Atlanta, Miami, Vegas, LA, even Chicago, you know what I'm saying? And have maybe an HBCU game where they don't have HBCU schools, you know what I'm saying? And we bring a showcase out there. And so those are some of the things we'd like to do. So I'm definitely interested in it, but at the end of the day, it has to make financial sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think, we did a series, in Los Angeles, a few years back, maybe 2 decades or so ago.
Yep.
And they were phenomenal. We went out there with the Marching Storm, visited high schools, got to play in the Coliseum, came back with 2 wins too. So that was great, right? You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think LA, and we just saw what happened, right, with the Battle of the Bands too as well. And so the excitement kind of around HBCUs on the West Coast and being the closest HBCU to the West Coast, right? Exactly. I think it only makes sense, definitely for something like LA, that will make a lot of sense. Outside of, MEAC Southland, any other schools that kind of pique your interest? I know, like you say, it has to make sense money-wise and everything too, though, but any other?
Well, yeah, I mean, for us, we want to get to the point where we're competing nationally at the FCS level. And so the South Dakota states and North Dakota states, those guys, I'd like to play them at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys are premier, nationally ranked, playing in national championships.
No, that's big. And I know we did play North Dakota State a while back, so that'll be good to run that back. I see Boom is saying he's talking about a radio broadcast or like audio broadcast as far as covering the games in those mediums.
So probably not. Like you said, on the road, the home team has it. You can tune in. A lot of it is free. Like for us to take a road crew down there is once again another expense. And so an unnecessary one at this point when everything is streaming and you know what I'm saying? Like it's a different world now than it was 20 years ago where you had to have your own radio broadcast or TV broadcast. And so,
yeah, focus on video basically, right? J Rock here says baseball and softball need locker rooms. Will that be happening in near future or is it in the works?
Baseball and softball's needed locker rooms since the dawn of time, right? So I'm very much aware of that, believe me. Trying to work on some things to be able to get something out there for those guys, but that's one of many needs, and so it's on the list. And if we can get to it, we will get to it. But I understand that both those programs would love to have locker rooms, and I talk about that with them all the time. It's just a funding issue. And there's a whole bunch of other things on the list of things I need to fund before we get to the softball, baseball locker rooms.
I gotcha. And then I see any stadium upgrades, maybe more grass. I know you talked about the Baby Dome upgrades. What about the stadium itself?
So I'm looking to replace the video board. So that's one project I'm looking at right now. So hopefully I can get that done at the end of spring ball.
Gotcha. Okay. And
because what I want to do with the video board, like if you could picture it, there's some static writing on there, and what I want to go to is an all video board where you don't have any static writing on there. It's all digital, and so that way, when I want to run a commercial or announcement, it's the full video, and you don't have like right now we have like the score and the first down and all that type stuff, which is static. And so I want to go to an all video board.
I got you. Okay, so it'll take up the full screen and
Full
then
screen, yeah,
with the score and everything like that.
yeah.
He also asked about ribbon scoreboards too. I guess he's talking about like on the upper and lower decks.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. If I have some extra money, I'll do that. But I got to take care of the big board first.
Gotcha. And will that is it going to be the same size, or will it be a larger board, or?
Well, it'll be a little bit bigger, but because it's all digital, it's a bigger video board.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. I want to ask too. Agletics obviously is doing some great things. In connection with the program, I saw mention that could be a possible connection. From a standpoint of taking care of some nutrition for our athletes. Can you talk a little bit about that? I don't know if it's in place or whatever.
Yeah, no. So it's a partnership. It's a part education, part nutrition, part athletics, agriculture. We call it agletics. We're looking at first of all, to educate our young folks for all 18 sports about what to put in your body to be a high level student athlete, right? We have a saying around here. We talk about, if you want to be a pro, treat your body like a pro, right? And a lot of that is what you put in your body is going to help you perform at the next level, right? And so, one, it's the education, and it's helping those to understand what is your body goal, right? Your body goal is different if you're a softball player than you're an offensive lineman, then you're a basketball player, baseball player, and henceforth, right? So it's understanding that as well. But then it's getting the actual calories and nutrition in your body, logging that, understanding what that looks like, becoming a student of your nutrition, basically. And so they're partnering with us on that type of stuff. And then they've got a lot of the different food distributors and things of that nature that help us with our nutrition center down in the weight room, right? So right now, they're helping us out with like smoothies and fruit and muscle milk and protein and that type stuff after our guys finish working out. But what we want to get to at some point is that we're providing an actual training table or working with dining services to say, hey, 5 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever we can work out, like we need healthy options in either the MSC or the other dining hall, and our student athletes will be able to go in there at a certain time, or we're serving it in the Panther room. Like I'd really love to have a training table available for our student athletes, maybe for their dinner or for their breakfast, because dinner and breakfast are the two most important meals. To be able to have that, so we have a little more control of what they're eating, when they're eating, how they're eating, according to their workouts and their practice schedule. And so that's a program we're working on right now. It's been great so far, but it can be expanded in so many different ways, right? And so we're working on trying to bring partners in, whether it's a HEB or whether it's our cattle ranchers or whether it's the food we grow right here on the farm here, and trying to make sure our student athletes are kind of like the first ones to experiment with this, and then branch it out, not just the athletes, because all students need to eat healthy, right? But athletes are burning more calories and doing those type of things. But to get it to a point where our athletes or where our students on campus are being educated at that same level to meet whatever goals they have.
No, that's big. Yeah. And I mean, some of the things, it's just been awesome seeing the connection between, the ag department, athletic department. Obviously, I'm, ag major here. So, I love seeing it. And it's great to just see that, that it continues to build over time. And it's really meeting a need, right? And now you have students that are getting very, very good practical training, even from the standpoint of student athletes being taught, but also from the students from the ag side of things that are able now to help provide, help and resources that are actual real world needs right now on campus. And so that's really great seeing that, man, going on. So we have a couple, maybe take a couple more. So if you have any other questions for AD Goff, go ahead and put it in the chat. Say James says, make it organic. Make it organic. Hey, listen, the organic be hitting. You know what I'm saying? So I see Darius Malone says, is there a plan for better traffic control before and after the game? I was talking about the football game series. Is that in that strategic plan for parking and for the police department? Just maybe is that in their strategic plan?
No,
you got you low again.
all right.
There
You
we
got
go.
me now?
Got you.
We're constantly trying to find ways to get people on and off this campus faster. Like I tell people all the time, show up as early as possible, man. You'll get on campus a lot quicker. But there's only a couple ways to get on this campus, right? And when we have big crowds, which we want to have big crowds, it's going to take a little longer to get on here. And so, what we try to do is have as much information available for people when they're coming on campus, so they come in the right gate, the right way, get to their parking spot as efficient as possible. So it's an ongoing thing. We after every game, we evaluate the traffic flow, and we try to figure out, what's the best way, make subtle adjustments. But there's only a couple roads to get in here.
No, that's fact. So hopefully this is part of the total strategic plan. So when the innovation put it together, they'll say we deal with the traffic, okay? Because listen, the traffic be traffic. I ain't gonna lie, I'm with you on that one. Okay.
Come early.
You also talked about a special fan package, right? Have the themes been chosen for that? When is that going to be released, and when will people be able to make that purchase?
Yeah, hopefully around the spring game time. What we're trying to do is have the fan package where say for 4 home games, there's a certain color shirt, and you can just buy the box at the bookstore. We're working with the bookstore right now, and they'll have it there. So that way, you already got all the shirts. This is the color we're wearing. Wear that color shirt on that Saturday, and everybody's in sync. And so, and we'll promote it and those type of things. So, the bookstore has been really helpful in helping us, explore different avenues to get this done. And what we're trying to do is make it as affordable as possible, because I want the students to be able to buy it. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like big money guys like you, I know you can buy whatever, but I want our students on campus to be able to afford it, because once again, I want them to come out to the game in force, because students give us a home field advantage.
No, that is real. That's big. And that was going to be my question, because you mentioned bookstore. So the first thing I thought about was price, you know what I'm saying? Because, I got hit up by the bookstore many times in my years, you know what I'm saying? So okay, so we're working on affordability. That's good. Now, are these T-shirts going to be general shirts, or are they going to be special, specific design shirts for these games?
That's what we're working on. So they'll probably be special design for these games.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's another thing, because I'm like, they general shirts, you know what I'm saying? But
I can't get too fancy, because I'm trying to make them affordable.
For sure. Right? No, I'm with you on that. Now we can do something simple, but still make it where it's like, hey, no, this is for this specific day, this game.
Exactly.
You can't find this in anything else. You're not getting it out.
Yeah.
Box, you're not getting it.
No, and we'll make it specific for the box. Like outside the box, you won't be able to get the shirt.
So that's what makes people
be exclusive.
That add that extra exclusivity, right? That make people want to be a part of that too. And I want to ask you too. National Signing Day was such a great day. I know we raised a little bit of funds on that day. Do you know how much was able to raise that night, and kind of where
that night? That night we were. That night, I think we raised a little over $10,000, so that was good. Obviously, we're going to keep trying to raise money. Like, coach needs a good $350,000, right? And so we joke like he's a 35th coach. Let's raise $350,000. We'll continue to promote that Football Excellent account all the way down into the start of the Labor Day Classic, and so there's still time to give.
Gotcha. Okay, that's awesome. And then I see a shout out from Edwin Moore. Said kudos to you for talking to the Panther family virtually, coming over here from Southern. Really kind of don't want to have no conversation with him right now, but it's allowed. All right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And this will be the last one if we don't have any other ones specifically. See, Coach, how can we get official football and basketball jerseys? This kind of goes back to the merch question in general. Is that something that this RFP and that third party company will help to focus on?
Yeah, we'll look at something like that. You know, it's hard to get authentic, right? Official, because they're custom made, right? But we have like replica jerseys. Like we just put replica jerseys in the bookstore for baseball ahead of the Cactus Jack, right? And we've got replica basketball jerseys that are in there, and those jerseys are exactly like the HBCU Adidas ones that our teams wore. So we have those in the bookstore, and we'll continue to work on it. But I know people want those official, and those are custom. And so normally the only time you get those is when we no longer use them and they're taken out of rotation, and then we auction them off like at a signing day when we did some stuff like that.
I got you. So maybe not, I guess we won't be able to get the official jerseys, but maybe we can get something that's just a similar kind of cut and look to those jerseys. Yeah. And it'll be good because, hey, man, you look up in the stands and got people with the jerseys and numbers. That'll be great. And especially if we can, obviously this is something that's, another thing in itself, right? But as far as NIL is concerned and students, being able to make funds, if we have jerseys of certain players and maybe they get a cut off of those, that would be a great way, obviously, to continue to help them out as well. And that's it, Isaiah. I think this is the last one I see. Any plans to move the current scoreboard to another facility once it's removed?
No.
Nope, it's just gone. Yep. All right. So, all right. He said, how can I get that authentic PV 2024 SWAC champ shirt? Those are gone. All right.
Yeah. That's
you can't get those no more. All right. You know what I'm saying? Those are out of there. You know what I'm saying?
And that was 2023.
Hey, listen. And you got to order the 2025 one. Now he talking about something else. But with that said, man, I appreciate you, AD Goff, for coming on. Thank you so much for just sharing time and kind of giving us updates, right? PV Nation, we holding on because we ain't had no championship in a while, so we holding on. Hopefully we can turn this thing around. I got my champions. State season started. Softball out here doing their thing in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Knocking off Incarnate Word, because listen, we love being able to beat Incarnate Word because they just always get on my nerves. All right, you know what I'm saying? So they started off the year well, man. Baseball had a really tough one there, with the loss to TSU and obviously, lost to Southern. But we still got hope for the spring sports and basketballs. They can hold on and at least make the tournament. Maybe they can make some noise there. But man, we're excited for seeing our next championship, and I know you're excited for seeing your first one. So we can't wait for that. Yes, sir.
So the one thing we put out an announcement today. I'm sure a lot of people saw it, but before last Tuesday, I was in Indianapolis at the FCS NCAA meeting and get a call about North American University, our homecoming opponent, dropping football. And so everybody was in a panic. Everybody was calling me about their RVs. Do I need to change my RV rental dates and all that? And so we were able to schedule Lincoln University of California, and we put that out today. So homecoming's look, guys, right there. I see somebody, Willie Mack. Are we close to finding someone to replace North American? Willie Mack, we got an opponent, and it's out. Lincoln University of California, same exact date. So if you already rented your RV, you can keep the same dates. If you got your hotel room, you can keep the same dates, just a different opponent. So that's out. It's official. We put it out on our website. We put it on our social media platforms. So everybody can rest assured we got homecoming. All right.
I know you was getting hit up about that.
Was I?
Oh man, that is hilarious. Last thing before you go, is there a difference in the cost to bring a Lincoln or NAU versus say another FCS level program to PV, for example, right?
Yeah. So usually if we play at FCS, you just do a home and home. So for instance, last year we played East Texas A&M, which was formerly Commerce, right? And so they played our homecoming game, and then we'll go there, not this season, but I think the season after or something like that, we'll return the game. So usually if you play at FCS, there's just a home and home, and you return the game at some point. When you play a D2 or an NAIA, you pay them. And so you just got to pay them to come play you, as opposed to a FCS is just a home and home.
I got you. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate that. Any last words you got for PV Nation? Obviously, other than them resting assured that October 25th is still homecoming.
Yeah. No, first of all, man, like always, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your support and appreciate you allowing me come on your platform and just talk a little bit about Prairie View A&M athletics, man, and talk to PV Nation, man. I know the passion out there is huge. We got a lot of momentum with our new football coach. I've been out there early in the morning with him and I've seen it, right? I'm not just looking at videos. Like I was there when he was singing on the field today. I was on my golf cart when he was running in the dark. And, I work out in the mornings the same time the football team works out. So I'm there and I see it and I can tell you, I can touch, I can feel, I can smell, I can feel the excitement that the young guys have for coach, that the coaches have for the team. And so we're excited about that. We're going to continue to get better here in the rest of our sports. We're going to continue to upgrade our facilities and we need y'all though. Like I can't do this by myself. And I tell people all the time, like, you want to see a change, donate, right? We've got like winning costs and that's the bottom line. Right. And so, yeah, we're spending, but we don't have enough to continue to spend without the help of, PV Nation. So I encourage PV Nation to go to pvpanthers.com and hit that donate give button and donate, whether it's to the Purple and Gold Fund, which is the fund that I control, or to an individual sport fund, right? That sports that you really, really care about and you want to see be successful, and you donate to that, and they'll use it to the best of their ability. And so, that's where we're at now. And I encourage people, buy your season tickets. That's another way to support us. Come to the games. We need to fill these stands each and every game, because what that also does is when we fill the stands, it allows us to go out and gain corporate sponsors, right? Because they always want to know how many you have in attendance, how many are watching your game. We were fortunate last year that all of our games were on ESPN Plus, and so we had a large viewership, right? We had a great schedule, and so we had a pretty decent attendance, but it can always be better, right? We got a stadium of 15,000. We should fill this thing every home game. There's only 6, right? We need to be in them all 6 games and bring that home field advantage so we can bring this championship home for PV.
Nah, that's big, man. So again, if you guys want to donate, make sure you head over to the athletic department, athletic page, and to be able to give to whatever program you desire, right? Or like you said, the Purple and Gold Fund that he controls. But either way, right, we just need you to be there to support with your words. We need you to support online, in person, right, at the games. And so, man, come on out and show your support. So again, AD Goff, we thank you so much. And PV Nation, we appreciate you for jumping on. And hey, listen, all of everybody's, we appreciate y'all too as well for coming and snooping too as well. So with that being said, man, we'll holler.